So, as Stuart said there, I've been fortunate enough to create a career, if you will, out of social media, and being more prominent in the social media world for certainly the last 10 years. I haven't got a clue who that guy is, by the way. So for me, like most in the room, your journey starts off in contact centre world, where I was a customer relations manager at Virgin. Fortunate enough to cave that career throughout Atlantic holidays, media, but more prevalent was Virgin Trains, who gave me the catalyst, or gave me the empowerment to create my own path. Web chat soon came in just after that, and then the big world of social media, which depending on what brand speak to, they still believe it's a new thing, and is it here to stay, and you kind of get those. But social media is 10 to 15 years old now, so I like to think it's here to stay. I guess in terms of my journey path then, as I said, Virgin Trains was a massive influence there, but moving into Yopa and a new startup company, I'm hoping for the next 15-20 minutes I can go through some of my experiences that I've got there, and more so in kind of the customer journey planning and customer experience world. So how to build and manage an online presence. So I said there, Virgin Trains gave me that kind of platform to enable me to really shape what it was the Virgin brand wanted to achieve. And as I said there, I can't believe that we're 10 years, or Virgin Trains are 10 years into their social journey. A few things for me, certainly along that path there, was making sure, first of all, we were there for our customers. And for those that travel by train, believe it or not, when we go to bed at night, there's still trains throughout the UK that are still operating. So, one of the early things that we did as a train company was making sure that we were listening to our customers. And we had that much of an occasion where, we're a 9 till 5 operation, and customers trying to, commuter times in the evening, trying to get home for their journey, and your social media team's non-existent, just from a brand perspective, but also from a customer perspective, it looked pretty poor. And so one of the early things that we did was become a 24/7 entity, and to more so to help people through that commuter time and into the evenings where, trains do get delayed. I'm sure some of you have experienced that, and helping customers on with their onward connections and journeys. It was then kind of thought of as, we still, again, live in a world where, is it a marketing tool? Is it a customer relations tool? Does it fit under corporate affairs? Is it a comms? Where does social media fit, really? So along the kind of certainly 8-9 years that I spearheaded the social presence at Virgin, we trialed and tested every single department that was known. And I'm not going to stand here and say it's what's right for your business. I think you have to work that out yourself. But lo and behold, when we went on that 8-9 year journey, when I was certainly there, we put it all under our corporate affairs remit. What that enabled us to do was, we still had those strong links and relationships with customer relations. We were still heavily involved in marketing content and campaigns, but also we started to look at things from a press perspective, PR, media, and more so a crisis comms, working in transport. And as I said, things do go wrong, not always at the fault of the train operator, but we're best placed to be then, in the thick of things, if things do go wrong, to put it right for our customers. During that journey then, so it was all about, we inherited and grew out of a customer relations team, which was fantastic. But again, like most brands out there, you don't have the money or the resource to sustain your social media growth, and becoming its own social media team under corporate affairs. For me, that was an opportunity to start getting people who really understood social media, understood the industry we're working in, but also, what tools are out there, what platforms are readily available to us, and people that really believed in social media, because train world is quite an archaic world, and a lot of them are still from BR days, which some of you may not even know what BR is. That's British Rail. But for us, if we wanted to become infamous for just being, excuse my French here, just shit hot at social media, we also wanted the team behind us to maintain and to grow that online community with our followers. And as I said, produce content that was shareable, engaging. And so this isn't a plug for social signing Orlo, or maybe it is as we're here today. But for me, there was nothing better than we trialled every platform known to man, and some of you again are probably on other platforms other than Orlo. So I won't name them because I don't want to kind of belittle any of them or say that they're terrible in any way, shape or form. But throughout this journey, using the likes of social signing and Orlo, when your customer base is 8,000 tweets per day, 500 Facebook comments, Orlo or social sign as it was back then was certainly a platform that enabled us to maintain that customer communication with our customers, and enable us to create the data and analytical behaviours of our customers when we're producing the content that we've got. So I said huge credit to social signing there. I talked a bit about the content there. So, we've got the right people in the right jobs. We've got it in the right department. We're 24/7. We're forever present. We do give Christmas Day and Boxing Day off for our guys, so they're not continual. But in terms of the content, we were then able to start producing. The top left-hand corner, for those that can see, was an infamous viral story called Poogate. I'm not sure if any of you remember that. Basically, it was a young guy in his hour of need, needed the toilet roll, needed the toilet, and lo and behold, there was no toilet roll in the cubicle. Through the power of social media, the guy tweeted in his hour of need, can you get some toilet roll down to us? And a simple call to the train manager was able to go and give it to him. So to us, it was just doing our job. It was the power of social media, for the good. Unbeknown to us, he was quite an influential blogger, and 600 million pieces of unique content worldwide later. The PR value to that was astronomical, and I probably got a good pat on the back for that. But it wasn't me. It was, as I said again, that was the team doing the right thing in the right moment. But yeah, as I said, there's a great story there. And just some of the other examples here is just having the kind of the wit of the team and jumping on trending topics. So some of the stuff is here. If you're football fans out there, you've got a Manchester United versus Manchester City derby. I understand we're in Leeds, so this might come down quite well. But hi, Chris Smalling, looking to get out of Manchester. He just scored an own goal. We've got tickets to London Euston from £12.50 one way, of course, to get him out of the city. So again, it was just jumping on, what's happening in the moment, and again, being part of the pride, being part of that kind of diverse unity in building relationships with all customers, irrespective of shape, size, whatever that might be. And then we've also got here on the right hand side, this was just an example which I really like actually. A young girl kind of really scrutinized our first class offering. This was a 9-year-old girl, wrote to us, War and Peace, and wanted to put things right. And there was crab sandwiches and there was loads of milkshakes and jellies and ice cream and things like that. And so again, through the power of social media, we were able to create her menu as a one-off, invite her and a few friends as well as parents to come and experience her menu on board. And as a result of that, I can't remember the item, but one of the items we kept in our first class menu for a short period because it went down so well. But again, that was just an example of just some of the content that we're able to create as a result of an online community. I said there, things do go wrong. So from a crisis communications perspective, we've as I said, we've got the team, we've got the resource, the manpower, we've got the online community, we've got the advocacy of a train company, and then when things do go wrong, obviously we need to communicate that with our customers. So we've built that online presence, we've got the platform in which to do it. We're shouting about it and trying to inform customers as best we can. But the advocacy that we've built up through our online content, we've also got followers there, and train spotters or geeks, whichever one to be known as, are able to also share our content and make sure customers are well informed during disruption. So that's a bit about Virgin Trains there. As I said, 12 years in a fantastic industry and brand to work for. What I then took the leap of faith into a startup company and went to work for Yopa Property Limited as their head of customer happiness. Very random job title, but it worked. And so my remit essentially was everything that the customer touched. That was me. And so what I was able to do in certainly the year that I was there was build up, and leaning on all of my experience at Virgin Trains, was build a new resolution centre, again, to put things right if things go wrong. But they had no kind of social media team or web chat team. And I thought that was really missing a trick in the digital world that we live in, how else to engage with customers, get estate agents into your homes to go and value your property. And lo and behold, when we looked at some of the statistics on the website, the conversion rate from people booking valuations into your home was at around 0.5%. And so I made it kind of a goal of mine or objective to boost that, certainly the time that I was there. And by bringing in social media and web chat, the social media team were able to, it was all one team. We pulled it together. As a result of social, was able to go out with more content and talk about our services and our people and what we're about. But via web chat, as I said, the conversion rate was relatively low. And by bringing in web chat, we was able to remedy any concerns that customers had. I think there were certain points on the website where customers genuinely thought they were about to sell their property if they pressed confirm. And so to kind of alleviate any concerns that they had, we were there and readily available to help them book that valuation. And as a result of that, the conversion went up to just shy of 10%. So over the course of a year to go up, 20 fold. Is that? I'm never good at maths. I thought it was astronomical, and again, another pat on the back for the guys at Yopa, which that grounding and that the experiences that I built through web chat, social, and previous enabled me to become a consultant in my own right. And I'd never claimed to be an expert by any stretch of the imagination. For me, it's all about sharing my own experiences and what's worked for me personally. And so I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of brands since. So there's been Pragnell Jewellers, there's been Air Liquide, and West Midlands Trains, who are across two brands, have led me to become a social media consultant. So, we talk about building that online community and sustaining what we've got, or what you've built up. Some of the things that I was able to achieve, certainly at West Midlands Trains and more recently at Pragnell Jewellers, my advice, I guess, and what's worked for me is wherever you are in terms of your digital journey, as it currently stands, absolutely 100%, before you even think about, I need a new platform because it feels right, or that looks shiny and new, let's bring it in with no real objective. I'd recommend taking stock as to kind of where you currently are, and certainly make that. I'm going to talk more about social media here than web chat, but certainly do a social media audit and take stock of, as I said, where you are. As a result of that, we're all clever people, right? So we can then make recommendations on the back of that audit in terms of what's working from a social customer care perspective. And as long as your analytics is granular enough, you can look at customer behaviour, you can look at your content and what you're going out with, what's working well. I'm a big believer of having the right people in the right job, and if not, helping them through their journey or career in life to push them into certain roles. However, when it comes to social media, I think getting the right people in the right job definitely helps, and those that understand social, or the power of, has huge benefits. You've then got your paid and organic strategy. As I said there, you've done your audit, you've made your informed recommendations, and you know what's working organically with your content. Budgets permitting, obviously, then you can make more of a conscious decision as who your target audiences should be, demographics. Where do you want to, whether it be to bring people into a store or online, where is it you want to start, pushing your call to action, and again, through the power of a good paid strategy will enable you to do that, and then bringing all of that together can inform your wider overarching strategy. I've been in brands and businesses where they've asked for a 3 to 5 year strategy. We're in social media, so you're probably looking at a push a year to 2 year strategy, which is for I'd recommend again every 3 to 6 months continually doing that loose audit in terms of where you are. Which of course leads me on to the platforms and tools that are definitely out there. Way back when at Yopa, we used a tool for live chat, a tool for CRM, a tool for my contact center, a tool for social media. I think, that Orlo rebranding themselves last year, certainly, if we'd have known that there was a tool or a platform that could have brought a lot of that together, certainly with web chat and social media, would definitely have helped the cause, especially from, as I said, both from a usability perspective, but also, bring in all of that analytical detail. So, as I said, I've tried to whistle through a lot of that. As I said, happy to share a lot of my experience with all of you, and hopefully I'll meet a lot of you at the break, whether it be lunch or dinner. And I do have to get a train back later on, which hopefully it's all on time. But yeah, I'd like to thank you all for your time. Thank you.
Any questions for Richard? One question that I had, you spoke a lot about getting the right people in the right jobs. If you were interviewing someone for social media, what are some of the key, how would you identify them as a great fit for that kind of customer service channel or comms channel?
Good question. So I think for me, again, it's just something that I use from a recruitment perspective. Again, it's not going to fit everyone, but for me, I'm still very old school when it comes to recruitment, and making sure I've got the right job description, job spec. It does exactly what it says it is. Forget the head of customer happiness stuff. You want somebody that's social media, so you're attracting the right people immediately who are applying for the right roles. I think a good, strong job description and outline exactly what that person who's going to be getting in that role is doing. I think there's so many job adverts that out there are so misleading, and there's clients I've been that have potentially gone to work for that when you get in there, the goalposts move and you're not doing what you should be doing. So I think that's the very early stages, and also advertising on the right channels, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be your own social channels. You work in social, right? So why not use the channels you've got readily available? And then obviously your traditional, whether it be paper, print, whatever. And I think from there, it's how you what you want from your candidate. I think we still live in a world where I would go through a telephone interview, then bring them in to kind of sound them out for the right team fit. You're then going through the stages of I don't want to call it a criteria based interview, but a loose informal chat. And then some kind of social media exercise, whether that be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it might be, just to see that they start to understand, they've got a good grounding and understanding of social media itself, or how to reply to customers, depending on the role, of course. And then I guess if you're looking for more seniority, you're probably looking at the presentations, campaigns, why you're building those campaigns, looking for tips such as, are they including terms and conditions? Have they thought about a paid advertising? What does all that look like, really? So, I said, I think to answer your question, from the very beginning is getting your job spec and job advert right for social media, and not fool people into thinking it's something that it's not. So, yeah.
Okay. Any more questions before we move on? One down the front of you, Andrew.
Your thoughts on the best way to deal with a crisis that's unfolding at a rate of knots on social media?
Sorry.
Yeah. Your thoughts on. Your thoughts on the best way to deal with a social media crisis, a crisis that's just unfolding and seems unstoppable on social media. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so I think that's where, if I look back at Virgin Trains specifically, which is more the likelihood of a serious incident happening, is, I've been involved in something, it was an incident many years ago before social, which was grey rig, and one of our trains derailed, unfortunately killing, or as a result of that, potentially led to a death. So if we'd had social media in that day and age, for me, certainly, it's making sure your team are well equipped with the right tools to enable to them jump on that crisis, whatever it might be. The Virgin Trains team, we put ourselves in the control environment, which was the hub of the network. They see it as their little train set, all on these massive screens everywhere. But for me, you're in the thick of the action. You've got the call from a signaller to say that there's an incident going on, whatever that might be. So the team are readily available to jump on that. Being in corporate affairs as well, obviously you've got people that are media trained or radio, and we've got we had strong links with the Virgin brand as an entirety, so the umbrella company. So if Sir Richard or CEOs or whoever they needed to be assembled, we had a process in place for all of that. So I think communication and process is definitely a key driver there. But from a social media perspective, certainly it was that, making sure whatever content we've got going out is just closed down immediately. Again, we've got a 24/7 team, so they're well equipped and readily available to cope with that demand. You've got tools, whichever platforms you look to use. In our instance, I said we had social signing or Orlo to be able to do that. A tool or platform that can, I said 8,000 tweets on certain occasions that can cope with that demand, and a brand that doesn't blame your IT infrastructure for the demise of a platform going wrong. So I said there, I think it's the right people with the right training, platforms, and the right location within your organisation. Puts you in a good position. However, this is social, so I must caveat the whole lot with you're never going to train for every eventuality. So sometimes it is thinking on the fly, but yeah. Cheers.
Okay, wonderful. One more question before we move on.
I didn't have a question.
Next one back.
Sorry. Thank you. Hi. I had a question about autonomy. So some of the tweets that you showed, they're like a bit funny. How do you give the staff working in social media that autonomy to do that kind of tongue-in-cheek tweets that come across very natural?
Yeah, so I think fortunately for me, my ethos when we first took on social, we treated it like a radio show, and it was like, hi, it's Rich here today, come keep me company, and we started to build our following that way. But for me, it's allowing your staff or colleagues complete empowerment. And there shouldn't be all these black tape everywhere, and you can't do this and you can't do that. And again, I've worked for some brands where the processes of before you get anything signed off, you're like 5 deep. With social media, right, it should be quick, dirty, easy. And my rule of thumb, and I probably shouldn't share it, is that as long as you don't swear, what's the worst that can happen? And I say that very loosely because a lot can happen. But the team, for me, when you're recruiting, you've recruited that person with full faith that they're the right person for the job. So treat them like a human, and as I give them all the tools they've got to be able to just allow their personality to shine through. And I think for me, fortunately, because we were a Virgin brand, for us, it's all about taking care of our people, making sure that they're well equipped, but also happy in their roles, of which that's all then going to shine through to the customer, whether that be during crisis or not. And so when we're not in crisis, you allow their personality to start shining through. So stuff like the tweet with Chris Small and that example, that wasn't, hang on, I need to get this signed off by Rich. That was just, it feels like the right thing to do. You're with your colleagues anyway. What do you think? Yeah, sounds good. Let's jump on and have a bit of banter with Chris Smalling. And lo and behold, his representatives did contact us, applauding us for that. It could have gone the other way, of course, but they thought it was very funny. And we had a good relationship with football teams, and we did that quite a lot, to be honest. But as I said, for me there, in terms of your question, was definitely empowerment to do not what they want, but within reason. That there isn't all of those processes in place to make sure that we're saying the right thing or we're doing it, because I think there is such thing as too many cooks. And before you know it, it's my voice out there. It's not my guys in the team. It's their personality. Allow that to come through in their tweets.